All right. Hello, ladies. So what is today? Wednesday? When's Christmas? Saturday? Is Christmas Saturday?
Christmas Day is Saturday, yeah.
Okay, so Christmas Eve is Friday. So everybody on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, of course, flying high, no anxiety, none of that BSness, and 1 being super low and super down in it. Pertaining to your grief and healing journey, not so much pertaining to just the general hubbub and chaos of holidays. Tell me where you've been sitting at about. Show me on your hands. I'm about a 7. Okay. 7, 7, 6, 4, 6. I didn't see y'all down at the bottom. Damn, Kate's at a 9. Oh, Fawn's at a 6. Peggy, where were you at? 4. Kathy, how about you?
Well, I was better till, I told you I'm launching 2 new products at work between now and next Saturday. So
that's not grief related though. Grief related, where?
No, yeah, grief related. I'm like, I don't know, 7 or 8. I'm good. Except I wish Sophie would quit fucking bombarding me with Christmas music in my car. But other than that,
Well, that's what you get for making her watch Hallmark movies all the time. So, well, I'd say that's pretty good then, guys. Are you surprised at where you're at this year? Like, are you a little bit surprised with yourselves? Not a very chatty bunch tonight, are y'all?
I don't know that I'm surprised. Every year it's different. But I'm in a good place so far, so I'm happy with that.
Are you guys finding, and I know, Fawn, this is your first year, and you're still very new, but something I want you guys to take away from this is, because a lot of you were in the program last year, are you starting to see really that every single year and every milestone, and really on most days, every day is going to be what you make it, right? Like, it really is up to us.
Yes.
Which can kind of be a big pain in the ass sometimes, to be quite honest. But I think that that's one of the big gifts to us, because truly that is a secret to like the happiness of life, but it gets so lost while we're moving through just regular mundane things. And then when the grief beast hits and the shattering comes, it's like it puts that right in our face. It puts that lesson like right in our face, very very black and white, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things about when you guys are down in it, like are down in the darkness, are down in the grief, it's a good reminder to know that when you're leveling up, that's what's happening, is you're coming back into that truth and that realization that you do have tools to make it what you want it to be for the most part, right? So what some of the things that I know Kate wanted to go over some tools. Caroline, what did you want to go over, Caroline? I can pull it back up. I just saw it.
Okay, good. That works.
You want me to read it off? Or do you? Can you hear me?
You froze for a sec.
I froze? Oh no,
yeah.
That is not.
Or at least you did for me. I got like an electronic tone and then you froze.
Well, I am now paying $100 a month for this damn internet. So if I freeze, somebody's getting their ass chewed tomorrow. And it's fiber optic. I don't really know what that means, but it's supposed to be really, really good. So,
yeah.
Let me see what you wrote in there, Caroline. Here's it at. And I took my phone off the thing too. So, okay, I'm not finding it.
I can
Caroline,
say it.
Yeah, go ahead and say it, Caroline.
Okay, it was just, and I put it on there so late. These were my just
That's
other
okay.
reminders of how to protect ourselves from negative people and people who have real negative energy and real low vibe people, heavy people. And then my other question was, I just wanted to know, is this normal? Because as y'all know, I had an event, like yesterday was amazing. I'm alternating, like I've said this before, between these incredible highs and these deep lows, but and I think I'm leveling up and leveling up. But then every time I level up and I'm like, okay, this is cool as hell, then I don't even get my footing before I have to fucking level up again. And I just want to know if that's normal. That's all.
It was normal for me.
Okay.
It was very normal for me. This is a roller coaster for quite some time. And it
Okay.
is a crazy making roller coaster, right? Because as you're moving through, especially the deep, deep grief,
Mhm.
those waves roll in, sometimes very violently and very viciously. And the thing about it is, what I noticed looking back is that the darkness was so dark and so profound at that point that when the light did come, it was like, ah, now, now when that starts to level off and you don't get down in that darkness quite that far, the light is still light, but it's not a blinding light. So the darkness isn't blinding, nor is the light blinding, because that's the adjustment and the acclimation. Does that make sense to everybody? Are you guys experiencing that? Now, that being said, you can still have these moments of, right? But they're still going to follow times of contrast. So, and that it's not necessarily even about just grief contrast. It can be like, regular everyday contrast. And then when you step into the light and you shift out of, oh, this and this and this, and you shift into the light of, oh, gratitude, this and this and this, then the light can become bright again. But it is very normal, Caroline. Um, I've seen posts in my memories that say, somebody stop this fucking roller coaster. I want to get off, like nauseous. I feel like my head is spinning. I can't catch my breath. And so when it would get really, really bad and I was so exhausted from it, that's when I stepped away for a few days. I wouldn't get online very much. I really
Right.
I wouldn't listen to anything spiritual. I did not sit down and intentionally connect. I would even tell Leaf, like, mom is just going to sleep for a few days, or mom is just going to watch TV for a few days, because I just needed to shut my brain off. The thing about this, you guys, is you're bringing in so much new information, and you're opening up your awareness so much, and you're vigilant of your thoughts so much of the time. You have no idea how much actual brain power that takes to process it. Not to mention the shock and the grief and all of this on top of it. You're not just exhausted from grieving, you're actually exhausted from all of the newfound information that you're being given by your kids, that you're taking in, and that your human brain is trying to deconstruct, reconstruct,
Yes.
integrate, all of that. And it is. That's why you guys see me say radical self-care, radical self-care,
Mhm.
radical self-care. And that's why some of y'all I've told, like, go to bed for 2 days. Go to bed,
Okay.
shut it all down, tell your kid, hey, I'll get back to it, but I'm human, I have to process. And watch some funny TV or sleep, those sorts of things, so that you can give yourself just time to rest. You have to rest during this, or you're going to hit a wall, and then you are going to spiral because you're going to be so freaking exhausted. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And self-care I mean, on my radical self-care times, those, especially in the first year and a half, sometimes I would take to the bed for 4 days, because I would have been 2 weeks just back to back to back, literally 12 to 17 hours a day. I'm studying, I'm intentionally connecting, I'm learning, I'm doing this, doing that.
Right.
And after 2 weeks straight of that, I was like, I'm tapping out for a little bit. And I would sleep. For me, I'm a sleeper. So sleep has always been some of the best medicine for me. I would sleep for 4 days. And then, my mom would say, Nikki, you got to get out of bed. I'm like, the hell I do. Like, Nikki needs to stay in the bed right now. So whatever that looks like. So, and radical self-care too, guys, isn't about taking care of everybody else. It's literally about finally putting yourself first and saying, no, I cannot, I can't make you dinner tonight. I'm I'm not. Mom's off. I'm off work. Wife's off work. Mom's off work. Daughter's off work. Whatever, which is really, really hard for mothers to do anyway, you know. And it kind of puts us in a pickle. It can put us in a pickle because we are so busy taking care of everybody else. So you do have to, if you can't take a full 24 hours off, at the very least, you need to be giving yourself, 4 or 5 hours a day where you're just not working on your healing, where you're not down in your grief, where you're not expending your energy on somebody else. Shut it down. Like literally, I mean, shut your brain down, and let it have the time and the space that it needs to process.
Okay. Okay.
I would also say that you sometimes you have to compartmentalize your healing a little bit too. You have to focus on honing your connection for 3 months or whatever, and don't worry about the shadow work and the healing your old traumas and all that shit.
Absolutely.
You gotta get really strong in your truth. And part of getting strong in your truth is working your connection and working to evolve your language at the rate your child is evolving, because they'll evolve the language a whole lot faster.
That's what I'm talking about.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
what I'm talking about. It's like, I can't keep up with you, dude.
And
Well,
you
you can
just
ask
tell
him
him
to slow
that.
it down.
Yeah, tell him to
down.
slow down.
Like
You know.
today with Kat, he was like, I want you to do this, Mom. I want you to connect even more. I want you to, and y'all, I mean, I think I'm doing great in the connection part. And I'm thinking, what the fuck do you, I'm like, can't I just ride the beauty wave for just a few minutes before you're asking me to step up some more? But I might need boundaries with my dead child too.
Well, here's the deal. Leaf used to get a cussing from me because he'd be bam, 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 bam. And I finally said, listen, kid, like I am still in my body and I'm still in my earth perspective and I get tired. He would come and wake me up, tap on my shoulder at 4 a.m. And finally, after 2 days, I was like, I'm in my body. I'm sleeping. I love you, but I do not want to talk to you. If you were in your body and you came and woke my ass up just to chit chat at 4 a.m., I would say, get the hell out of my room. I literally kept the same kind of cadence with my relationship with Leaf as I did when he was in body. I did not exalt him and all the time. And I did it first because that's very natural. But after a while, you kind of come back down to the earth plane and you're like, listen, I get it. You have no linear time. I get that you see the broader perspective, but I'm still working with literally a human brain here. So you're just going to have to slow your roll and be patient. And most of the time I would hear him laughing in my face about that. Like, ha ha ha, I know, for you, so, and he's probably just laying out what he sees for you and the path he's giving you your path. He's not demanding that you do it right now. Because to him, right now and 10 days from now are the same.
Oh, see, thing. I forgot about that. That's what I forget is that there's no time. That I still forget that.
And the thing is, too, Caroline, when they know that we have figured it out and we're in there, they're fucking excited. And they inundate you with signs and then you're like, oh my God, I can't keep track anymore. I can't take all these pictures. I'm filling my phone up with pictures of all these signs. They're everywhere. And really, for me, when the signs were everywhere, like literally everything I looked at was a sign, then it was time to step up to the next level of communication, where we started doing the pendulum and more divination tools and that kind of thing beyond the signs. But they get excited when they figure out that we're listening and we understand and we know they're there.
Okay.
And it is okay, Caroline, to say, you know what? I want to be earth focused for the next day, Zeke. So I know that you're going to be here with me. I'm going to very much battle my ego and not having guilt that I'm not in constant communication with you, because when this first happens, you guys all know this. It's constant I mean, I remember saying to my friend, like, I never thought about Leaf this much when he was in his body.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
constant, constant,
Yeah.
constant, constant, constant. And then when I started trying to be more earth focused, I felt the guilt, right? Felt the guilt of like, oh my God, I'm not thinking about him constantly again. And I would panic. And so what I've come to know is you can acclimate to that and you can just have those honest conversations, just like you would have if they were in body, actually more honest because they know what you mean more than you know what you mean. And just say, you know, I have to be earth focused right now. So, and Kathy's right. You don't have to be focusing on your shadow work and all of these other things. You can focus on just your truth, literally your truth, staying present and mindful and staying grounded at first. Those are the three big things. And it, you know, weave in your connection within that. You don't have to worry about all of it because you've got time. That's the
Okay.
place where time is on our side. So yeah, you're probably in dire need of some radical self-care, Caroline. And you know
Yeah.
what? It's exhausting because you can be flying high one day and the next day you wake up down in the pit. But that's how it's supposed to work. Because that's how you understand the contrast of the grief actually being a tool to propel you further into the light and into the awareness of the light. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes. And part of that, I think like right now I need radical self-care and I wanted to like maybe get drunk and have fun tonight or you know what I mean? It's like my plans got changed or like
Okay.
get a nice good wine buzz with y'all and then maybe go with my daughters to my nieces or maybe not. It depends. But instead I need to take a bath and I need to go to bed really early, you know?
And that's fine too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's fine too.
Okay.
And you know, I'm not all about not getting a little bit drunk here and there.
Yeah.
I mean, we throw down at Warrior Week, so you
Yeah.
know, it's
That makes me
and we
laugh.
do it to it's not a coping mechanism. It's when you can get
Right, right.
back to where you actually are like, oh, I kind of want to get out of my body and just, you know, lose my inhibition, have some fun.
Right.
That's different than saying, oh, I'm going to drink 4 bottles of wine because I want to
Right,
forget
right.
where the hell I'm at, right?
Right, right. I mean,
So,
I've done that before, but I'm not doing that anymore.
right.
It's not like I
So that's,
haven't done it, but
yeah. So that's
okay.
measured progress. That's measured
Okay.
progress. So absolutely. Absolutely. Um,
All right.
as
That helps. Thank you, ladies. That
You're
helps.
welcome. As far as standing in your own vibration and not being leached out from the maybe negative people around you, and you know, bless their hearts, bless their hearts, bless their hearts, bless their hearts,
Bless
bless their
y'all.
hearts, bless their hearts. um, it's one of the hardest things to do. I will tell you, it is one of the hardest things to do. Um, Even not in the grief, it's one of the hardest things to
Yeah.
do. You know, how many of y'all go to town and now and it's worse now because we're aware of it. Like before we weren't aware of it. So when it was draining our energy, we're like, oh, I'm kind of tired. Like I need a nap. Now I can go to the store and then come home and be like, holy, like I need to
Yeah.
freaking sleep for 3 hours. And it's
Right.
just because maybe I passed 4 people that I overheard complaining or maybe the cashier was super grouchy and I'm just like,
Right.
so I've started practicing literally cutting cords when I'm walking out of the grocery store and it has helped me.
Okay.
We had to go run some errands today and I had to go to Omri's apartment and that apartment, ooh, it's heavy energy. She's got some roommates that are just not, they're just not, she's she's learning. She's learning about energy too. So by the time we left there, I was just like, oh my God, I need to go home and lay down. And Tom's like, you do, because it is so heavy there. So now that we're aware of it, that's part of the learning, right? We're aware of it and we're aware of it because now we're supposed to learn how to stand in our own vibration. Extremely hard to do, you guys. Extremely hard to do, especially when you're around it, especially when it's family, when you feel obligated to be there, right? And you're like, I don't want to cause a huge scene and set my boundaries right now. You know what I mean? So the best thing that I can tell you guys to do is number one, get some hematite, order a hematite ring, start wearing it, hematite bracelet, start wearing it. Um, you know, a lot of you guys sage yourselves or you Palo Santo yourselves. Lots and lots and lots and lots of grounding, guys. Before you're having family over or going to family, I would recommend doing a tree grounding visualization. If you don't have snow on the ground, get your feet in the bare grass, do some five senses grounding. And while you're at these functions, feel free to sneak away to the bathroom and call your power back and cut cords and surround and protect. And you may have to do that several times and repeat to yourself, mantra, I'm standing in my own vibration. I am standing in my own vibration. It's extremely, extremely hard. Okay. But you have tools that you can use before you go to these places and before everybody comes over. This is the time to step it up, right? So take a salt soak, right? Because that cleanses your energy. Get in the shower and do the shower. They call it meditation, but it's actually it's intention. It's like visualization intention, where the water's going over you. It's washing all of that negative energy off and down the drain. Call your power back, surround and protect. Ask, here's a good one. So when I'm going to be out and about, like if I had to have Bobby's coming in a few days, and even though we're on level playing field right now, the man still exudes negativity. Like it's years and years of unresolved trauma. So like I will smudge the house, I will smudge myself, I will do all these things. But one of the things that I do when I surround and protect, when I know I'm going to be around super, super, super negative downer people, is when I surround and protect, I ask and I set the intention that force field of, I go full all in. It's not like our simple one we do at the end of class. I go full all in with detail. I say, please surround and protect me in a force field, a divine white light. Mirror me with the mirrors facing outward.
Right.
And I'm visualizing this so that any negativity that comes on me bounces back off.
Right.
It's transmuted. Okay. I mean, you can put the mirrors up. You can put the light up. You put the mirrors up. You can shield in, hematite. You can set these intentions energetically as well and get your energy in a place where you feel more grounded with it. Okay. So, and while you're in the midst of it, if you need to take a break and go to the bathroom and cut those cords and call your power back, do it. Do it 18 times if you have to. Okay. 18 times if you have to. This is a big season that is a lot of learning and intention setting when it comes to do with us as energetic beings and the energy. And we're all tired anyway. So it's kind of like, that sounds like a lot of work. I really don't want to have to do that. I get that way too, guys. But the simple fact of the matter is we do have the choice, right? It's going to be what we make it. It's going to be how much we engage in that. So use your basic tools. Kate wanted to know about simple tools. It's back to the basics, right? Your megahertz. You can do 528. I'll put up the list for the other stuff, the other megahertz. It might be good to have megahertz playing before you go. Megahertz, tapping, grounding, visualization, calling power back, asking your higher ups to help you. Ask your higher ups to help you maintain your vibration. Here's the key to that. Know that if you are feeling something, though, that feeling, if it's contrast, is there to show you something, right? It's there. Maybe it's grief. If it's grief, you have to move through that, right? You have to let it come and you have to feel it and you move through it. And then you intentionally shift. You don't just pop around it into, all love and light. That's bypassing. So what are some of your guys' favorite back to the basic tools that you're using, or maybe that you forgot about to use? Anybody have any? Nobody has any tools here. Nobody's been ever given any tools.
I like
I'm kind of ornery tonight, aren't I?
what 5 things can you see? What 4 things can you hear?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I need something quick, I'll do that, or I'll take a couple of deep breaths. but I need to do my grounding every day.
I have to ground. Sometimes I
dance.
ground and dance. That's another thing, guys. You have tools to raise your vibration. Water, dancing. What else did we do, Bernie, in class? What else? We did water, we did dancing, we did tapping,
Meditation,
meditation,
automatic writing.
adult coloring. That's a good one. You know, Anita hops on the Peloton and bikes to Kathmandu to raise her vibration. We should all be so empowered. You know, so exercise does help. Getting out in nature, even if that means walking around the plants that are around you, just literally on your sidewalk, but leaning into that instead of walking rotely by them. I mean, I can do it right now with Bernie's palm tree behind her. I can literally lean into that picture of it, you know, and get into the feeling, the higher vibration of if I was standing under that. So those are things you can do to be intentionally raising your vibration. All right. So it's back to the basics. You know, the next 2 days, wake up. A lot of you know about morning rituals. Wake up, start your morning ritual. Make it quick. It can be a quick one, man. Like I wake up, mine is down. Like I wake up, my first words now are thank you, source, thank you, universe, thank you, higher ups, thank you, upper management. Thank you for all the abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I do a quick grounding visualization where I grow my tree roots down to the center of the earth. Because if not, I'll just be floating around outside my body all day long. Like I've done that my whole life. So grounding is very important for me. And then I do my gratitudes and affirmations throughout the day. So it's really, really time to get really focused on just, if nothing else, your morning and your nightly ritual. And then be aware throughout the day, if you're feeling like, and you don't know why you're feeling, to take a moment, step back and you know, use your tools. Especially if you're doing things at your houses, guys, like throwing on the 528 megahertz just on your Alexa or on your whatever thingamajigger y'all use. You can do that too. Okay. Tom has been playing, it's funny too. It's an affirmation rap, and it's a guy that he says, I'll have to get it from him. And I'll see if I can post it. You all know how I am about knowing how to post from what he plays to onto this computer Facebook thing, but I will try. But it's like, I really like it. It's upbeat, so it's not your normal like spiritual chanting. It's very upbeat. You can dance to it. And the guy's like, I am wealth, I am abundance, I am. And we'll just listen to it around the house while we're bebopping. So that's a fun way. There's EDM, there's electronic dance music I found that are affirmation electronic dance music. For those of you that have kiddos like Debbie, for you and the boys, like that would be great, because that's like their music. They can kind of get into that younger music, so which I can too, because I'm really kind of probably 16 at heart. So there are all different ways you can start taking that and exploring out and about. Another thing is knowing what's going to feed your pain and what's going to feed a more positive vibration, right? Like we talked about before, if the Facebook memories for the Christmases of past are bringing you down, don't look at them right now. Like, don't look at them right now. Instead, lean into the presence of how your kid is here right now. You know what I mean? That's a lot of things, a lot of different things. It really is, in times like these, back to the basics. And I know a lot of you guys have angel dates and birthdays too, along with the holidays, right? So of course it's expected that that's going to be kind of double, triple whammy, right? That's when you want to move into some cellular memory stuff, tapping, somatic breath work, understanding the physiology of what's going on with your trauma in your body. Okay. Does this make sense so far to everybody?
Yep. I like pendulum. I like doing the
Mhm.
pendulum. And I
Mhm.
start every morning before I even get out of bed, asking to cut cords and surround and protect every day.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
And
You
I
might
set my
answer Netta.
intention. And I set my intention every day too.
Good. Good. Yeah. And that's huge. That's huge. And I know it's exhausting, you guys. I know it is. There were days that I was like, I do not want to have to flip an ass do this every. Can I not just wake up and go about my business as a normal damn human? No. Guess what? For the most part, no. Because once you know, you know. So for me, and I'll skip it for 4 or 5 days. And by the end of 4 or 5 days, I'm usually a grouchy bitch by the end of 4 or 5 days if I haven't done my own just maintenance on my spiritual muscle. I'm very quick tempered. I'm very short with people. I have to dig really deep to say bless their hearts because instead I want to say 18 other things, colorful things. So I, even now, 5 years out, and it has nothing to do with grief for me, it just has to do with like earth life, right? Just earth life contrast. So even 5 years out, what I found is I have to maintain the maintenance on my spiritual muscle. I have to, because if not, my ego starts going, oh, I'm back in the driver's seat, right? So it is. It's once you know, you know. And once you have the awareness of your ego self versus your spiritual self, um, it it's a life, it's a lifelong, life after life after life after life after lifelong commitment. So that's the good news. Merry Christmas. you know. So back to the basics. Um, those of you that came on late, I was asking everybody where they were at vibrational wise right now. I think I just want to see where you're at versus where maybe you thought you would be at. So like Debbie and Brenda, I don't know who else came on late. Debbie Johnson and Brenda, where are y'all's vibrations at right about now? Being so close to holiday now.
I don't know. I guess it ebbs and flows about it. Like I said, I've been obviously sad.
Of
But
course.
a lot better than last year by far. But I think the difference too is just you know, I'm taking better care of myself. Like you said, that's
Yeah.
huge. Like like I took a nap today, and that's why I'm running late. And yeah, I know,
I'm
right?
so proud of you right
I
now.
know, right? Like last year, I would have begged and plead for that. So, yeah. So yeah, during taking all that and taking care of myself, because it's okay to be and not feel bad about being lazy and not getting things done and trying to do and being really, like you said, really dominant with that meditation and breath work and doing all that every morning. Because yeah, if you don't take care of yourself leading up to Christmas, it's ugly.
Well, and you
So
know what I found? Like, it's a big risk. I mean, now that I know, like, I almost feel like it's a bigger, some days, my earth ego, right? It's like, damn, it's a big responsibility to take care of me and not
it
just be
is.
pissed at my life and be like, damn, I'm sad today. Oh, yeah, I have the power to move through that if I want to. Am I feeling like I want to? You know what I mean? It is. It's self-awareness is a huge responsibility. And
It is.
on the ego side of it, it kind of sucks because it's like, well, I know what I need to do. I know what I have available to do. But do I want to do I want to put forth that much effort? You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And it's, the healer in all of us are so good at trying to heal others, that we forget
right.
to heal ourselves. And like you said, you'll go a couple days. I'm like, I got this. I can go a few days. And then, yeah, you are bitchy. And then you're like, damn, all right. All right. I suppose I'll surrender to the
Yeah.
meditation and the writing and
I'll go back
taking
and
care.
do it.
But also
Yeah.
it helps too. Like one of the things you said last time to me was, you know, like when I'm meditating, try to call Isaac in and try to feel him.
Mhm.
And that's been helping, like, because it takes a lot of effort, but I can feel him sometimes, and that helps because then when you feel him, you know they're there with you. You're not
Right.
doing this alone.
Absolutely.
So that versus last year, there was no way. So that helps is the more you know, the more you're connecting with your child, the more you feel like you can go through it. So
Absolutely. Are you surprised, Debbie, at the difference between this year and last year?
yeah, I would have never expected to be where I am. But like I said,
Yeah.
it's with your teaching that you can't unknow what you know. And so you
You
got to make
just
that choice.
you
You
just
got to just keep
surrender.
going. I know. Last year I was like, I'm not surrendering. Screw that. You know,
She
this year
was
I'm like,
adamant. She's
yeah, I
not
was.
doing it.
I was like, I ain't doing that, Nikki. Whatever. You know, I'll prove you wrong, girl. And then I'm like, never mind. I surrender. I'm so sorry. Yes, I surrender. You know. So
It's,
yeah.
it is so much. I mean, getting to surrender, and you guys, surrender isn't a one-off either. I mean, I surrender 8,000 times a day to 8,000 different things that I truly have no control over. And that my ego's like, oh, yeah, you do, girl. No, I don't. I mean, I'm still just arguing away. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. Yeah, you need to surrender. No, I don't. I mean, I'm still having arguments with myself. So it just is over different things now. But it is. I mean, there is peace in the surrender. There truly is peace in the surrender.
One thing I was going to ask is I actually did have a reading yesterday, and one of the things that was kind of said is kind of same like you said is you can call in the angels, you can call in your guides to help you when you're feeling stuck with, like you said, the cellular memory, the
Mm-hmm.
playing the thoughts over and over. And there's a thought I can't get rid of right before he had passed, and it
Mm-hmm.
played, and I have really worked on that, and I can't. And she said to have the angels help you, have your guides help you release that. And almost like I don't want to release that.
You're holding
There's
it.
yeah, because there's a part of me like that was kind of that was just a couple days before he passed. Like I feel like, you know, I'm holding on to that last bit right before he had passed, even though it's so painful. I don't want to give that up. Like, how do you release those last bits, knowing that if you can release it, you can ask your guides to help you, and they want to, but you're not ready to release some of that.
Well,
Does that make
here's the
sense?
deal. It does, but here's the difference though, Debbie. Like in the releasing, you're not
Mhm.
releasing the thought, you're not releasing that moment, you're not releasing the connection between the two of you at that moment. You're releasing the pain associated with it. So,
Mhm.
you have to deconstruct that and really say, like, okay, what am I releasing? I'm not, because wouldn't it be amazing if you can conjure that with him at will instead of it playing on a painful loop? And when you bring it up at your free will, right, and lean into that memory of it, for it to be a peaceful place instead of it looping pain, looping pain, looping pain. So it's kind of like the way that grief is, right? When we first start grieving, and society perpetuates it, like, oh, and you see this still, you see people like this still, right? That they hold on to that, they don't want to release that because somewhere we have been programmed that pain equals the love, pain
Mhm.
equals the connection, right? So subconsciously as humans in our evolution, that is what our ego selves have taught us. You know what I mean? And so it's really a deprogramming, it's a deconstructing some programming and really digging into figuring out what is it exactly you're going to release. You're not going to release Isaac. I mean, you can do that even if you tried, right? You're not going to release the energetic connection you felt in those moments to him. That's not possible either. You know that now. So what is it about that you want to release? And you can get detailed with that intention with your higher up. Say, I'm okay if this loops, but I don't want the pain to loop with it. I want it to bring me peace. I want to know that that was really like maybe my first moment of the awareness that Isaac and I were connected beyond anything that was going on in that room, anything that had went on to that point. Like it was just soul to soul. Because knowing you like I do, that's probably why it loops, because you are now intimately aware that like that was a soul to soul exchange, what was happening. So ask them to let the rest of that fall away so you can hone in on the beautiful magic that actually was playing out in that moment. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, and I don't know why I can't. It's like I can't let go of that pain. You know what I mean? Like I was able to help him through all the pain, but that last bit I couldn't help him. And for some reason I can't let I'm struggling to figure out why I can't let that go. I've let go of, you know, I know about the soul contract. I know it wasn't my
Right.
fault. I know I've done everything I could. Um, but that last bit, I just can't. Why is it? Can I not let go of that last bit of that pain when he's screaming in pain? I don't know if it's maybe I feel like that's my driving force, that because he was in pain, you know, that's my motivation. Like, you know, I don't know.
And that could be it. That could be it. So if you start to shift, if you feel like that's what some of it is, really take a look at what your motivation is now. Your motivation now is not just about Isaac. It's about you and Isaac and your journey together, your journey that is continued, right? It's about, you know, and it is perfectly okay, guys. It's perfectly okay to keep on your path and keep growing because you don't want it to be in vain. Like that was my motivation for 3 years. It had nothing to do about me, you know, becoming my higher self or this or that. Like my motivation, even knowing what I had learned in 3 years, was like, I'll be damned if I don't find my best life, because I'm never ever going to allow this to have been in vain, right? So it may be part of your driving force, Debbie, but you can also take that and separate it from reliving that pain, right? From reliving that pain. And I've had to do that with just the childhood trauma that I put my kids through by being in such a dysfunctional, abusive marriage for so long and not leaving, right? And all the things that they saw, and I mean, horrendous emotional pain, really horrendous emotional torture sometimes, quite honestly, is what they were subjected to with Bobby. And instead of going back and reliving that, like I don't go back and relive that and see the look on their faces and watch their spirit be crushed. Like 17 years I could do that, but I don't. Instead, I just say, I want none of that to be in vain, because all of that we wrote in, and I want none of that to be in vain. So I got very general with whatever trauma we had been through, that my kids had been through. And it wasn't physical, like with Isaac and his illness, right? It looked different, but it was still trauma. And it was life-altering trauma. And so rather than go back and relive every moment, I just say, you know, even for Omri now, like I don't want any of that to be in vain, you know. And you can take that in context with your boys now too, that are embodied, right? Like lump them all together. I don't want any of it, what they've experienced, what Isaac experienced, I don't want any of it to be in vain. And start shifting your motivation into more empowering words, more empowering intentions. And then maybe slowly keep asking them to release the pain of that. Like you can say to your ego, say, you know what? I don't want any of it to be in vain. All of it is my motivating factor. So stop feeding me this excruciatingly painful loop that you're feeding me. I get it. I've got it. I understand it. And then maybe you can get to the bottom of that deconstruction and you can start to shift it, right? And you ask for Isaac's help, and you ask for spirit guides help, and you ask for the angels and source and all of that.
I think that will help, because I think the biggest thing is I don't want to let myself off the hook. I don't want to give myself basically off the hook for, even though I didn't cause the pain, I couldn't make that pain go away. And I think I just don't want to get myself off the hook. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think if
Yeah.
I say, if I'm not doing this in vain, that, his pain was not in vain, that will still
Mm-mm.
empower me. I think I'd have a better chance of
So it's,
overcoming.
yeah, reframe it, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
that helps.
that's what the shifting is. It's always about the reframing. And sometimes, I mean, thank God that my brain is an earth book for dummies, right? Thank God my brain dumbed it all down when it was coming to me, because otherwise I don't know that I would have been able to deconstruct it. But literally, each piece that comes like that,
Mhm.
literally pick it apart. Why? Okay, why would that be happening? Okay, it does feel like it's a motivator for me. Okay, if it's a motivator for me, where is that coming from? Is it coming from guilt? Is it coming from my powerlessness? Like, figure out those key points and then dive
Right.
into that and get in the stew, right?
All right.
Grief is a big stew, but within the big stew, guys, there is still, okay, Antoinetta, if you know where to find me, if you need me, you reach out, okay? Breathe, sister, breathe. Just breathe. Breathe, call your power back, surround and protect. Breathe, call your power back, surround and protect. We're all right here with you. Daniel's right here with you. Issues at home are just, it's contrast to move through. Okay? And we'll be on if you want to pop back on. Are you okay? Okay, we're with you. We're sending you love. We're right here, okay? So grief is the big stew. But within the big stew, you guys, there are ingredients. And each ingredient, it's our job to go in and pick apart as well. Okay? You pick apart the big stew, and then each time a carrot pops up, you mush up the carrot and you figure out what it's comprised of. Each time the celery pops up, you pull the strings off and you figure out what's under the strings. This is all about literally taking each teeny tiny piece and deconstructing it, figuring out where it's coming from, what its purpose is in teaching you, and then the reframe and the shift to start moving through that. That's what we just did. You guys just witnessed with Debbie. Or what, okay, she pinned that it was she felt like it was a motivator. So we got into the nitty gritty of what is actually the motivator. It's not just that time, it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing with everybody that's involved that she loves. Okay. And then we reframe it. That's the name of the game, guys. That's what the healing work is about. And it's exhausting, but it's worth it. And so, Debbie, you know enough now to know when that loops through again, because you've got ego in play there, right? Because egos want to go, oh, here's just some more pain, mama. Keep going. Thank you, ego, thanks for, trying to kick me in the butt, but my spirit understands it now. So I'm going to, Anita's making it rain on people, whipping out the dollar bills, y'all. You say your reframe when it loops, okay? Because when you're talking flashbacks, guys, and that's basically what this is, it's a flashback on a loop is what it sounds like. When you're talking flashbacks, that is a neural pathway that's dug extremely quickly and extremely deep. When you start to understand your spiritual truth, right, that's when you can actually take your awareness and you can use in those painful flashback loops and you can shut that thought down and you can start to shift intentionally into your higher, broader perspective. Does that make sense? That's how I work through my flashbacks. Okay. And even when you're not there, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I had imaginary flashbacks. They're actually called something but it's where your brain literally puts you there and you're seeing things that you didn't even see. So I worked through some of those, which is really freaking crazy making. Woo, it is way crazy making. But that's how you deal with those painful loops and those flashbacks is you become aware of the thought, right? When it's happening, you shut it down, you speak your reframe, and then you lean into that and you reiterate it. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good stuff. What else, guys? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller. Bueller.
Bueller. Not
I
here. I'm
haven't,
in a
I haven't
parade.
said I haven't said that since last year. You're not okay?
No, I'm okay. I mean, like, yeah, my healing's at a 9, but shit happens here in the real world.
It does.
Lots of shit happens.
It does.
So yeah, my bleh. Bleh.
Are you
That's
gonna
how I
verbally
feel.
vomit on us?
I really actually feel vomity, but no. So it's emotional vomit. You know, so Anthony's best friend, let's just go there, right? Anthony's best friend, Oli, her name's Anna Oli. She's a wonderful child. I absolutely love her. They've been best friends since like 5th grade, and I love her mom. And her mom actually like opened the door and helped me walk through like my spirituality opening, like years and years and years ago. Like they're amazing people. I love them to death. Well, so their Anna's 11-year-old niece, Sherry's granddaughter, passed this morning from
Mhm.
very long battle with cancer, and actually she was totally cured of leukemia last week, but she succumbed to a fungal infection that her lungs couldn't handle anymore. And I kind of knew this was going to happen. One, my background as a nurse, like this girl's been through the ringer, but also like like I knew, and I've known for a long time that it was going to be before Christmas. And I tried very hard, very, very hard to have them have very open conversations with her about today. And they didn't. And I'm not mad about that. It is what it is. All things happen when they're supposed to happen. People listen when they're supposed to. They hear me when they're supposed to hear me. I know all of this, but it doesn't make it any easier because I'm here and I'm human. And we're all empaths, right? We're all empaths and healers. And like it sucks when you have these tools to help like people that I love them as much as my son did. You know what I mean? Like when he passed, I loved them. Now they're my best friends, like that's just how it is. And, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was expecting it, but not expecting it because my brain is so busy with other things, human things that I've been doing lately. And it totally I lost my breath for a second. And then I started bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, I actually stopped myself from crying. I'm like, okay, am I crying because I'm actually sad that she died? And I was like, no, I'm crying because I know
No,
what is
their
happening.
pain. Yes.
I could physically
Of
feel it,
course.
and it fucking sucked ass. And I just, I was totally vibing high. Like we're getting ready to move our Winnebago down south, and I was prepping the Florida style and getting into it. And then I came inside and read that, and I was just like, oh my God, my whole day changed. I stopped being functional then and just sat around and smoked a lot of pot because
Well,
it,
number one, would you rather have not felt anything for these people that you so dearly love, knowing that they don't
no,
know what you know? Okay, then why are you beating yourself up about it? Does it feel like shit? Yeah. Sometimes being human, whether you're an empath or not, feels like shit. That's the contrast. It's the contrast that comes, Kate, because here's the difference. So here's where your shift is. And I working in this community for as long as I've worked, and people say, Nikki, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. You know what? my heart breaks for Fawn right now because Fawn is 4 months out. And I remember what 4 months out feels like. And it's fucking horrendous. And I don't know Fawn personally, but I know her just enough from the group and from this program that I know where Fawn's at. And she has more on top of that than what I even dealt with at 4 months out. So my heart breaks for her. Do I take on Fawn's pain? I don't. Because here's the difference. I know, and I know that Fawn knows already, or she wouldn't be here, that she knows there is a path through this. These people, you can cry for them. You can be broken and shattered in the moment for their pain, but then you also come back to shifting that, but I know a way through this, and they're right here, and I can keep offering these things, and I know that there's a way out. I know there's a way out of that darkness. Okay. That's how I can do the work that I do, Kate. Because otherwise, I'm an empath too. I'd be a blithering damn mess. I'd never get out of the fucking bed. I'd be crying for all of y'all all the damn time. That's not gonna help anybody. You know what I mean? So and I thank God through my own journey and my own tools and having been kind of dragged and baby stepped at the same time into this work, is that I learned. And I've had people say, God, Nikki, you're so like, a family member will call and they'll say, oh, so-and-so's getting ready to die. And I'm like, good for them. And they're like, you're such a cold-hearted bitch. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I feel for you guys, but I'm going to offer you this and this and this. And I'm right here and I'm holding space. But for them, they got to finish their business, which means that they're way more quick learner than I am, apparently, number one, right? So the difference is, Kate, that you are human. You have to do your crying. You have to do your grief. It's okay to be compassionate and feel for people. You just don't let it become you.
Right.
Okay. It's the same thing with your own grief.
Yes.
Right?
That would have been so easy because, of course, when I realized that I was crying because I knew how much they were hurting, then I'm like, oh, I know that because Anthony is gone. It would have been so easy for me to just go, oh my God, and go on this huge long thing. And I'm like,
right.
No, that's not what's happening right now. Okay. What's happening right now is you're feeling their pain.
Well, and that's an important thing. Right. That's an important thing though, guys, is learning how to discern and differentiate your own grief versus somebody else's grief. Because grief feeds grief feeds grief feeds grief. And like you said, in a split second, it could have went from being their pain to very well being your own pain about Anthony, right? It's that quick. It's that quick. And so sitting with it and deconstructing it and figuring out what it is and whose it is and how you want to maneuver and journey through that part of it is an extremely important leveling up that is happening. Okay. That's extremely important, especially as a healer that's wanting to step in to whichever direction your calling goes. That's an extremely important leveling up. Okay. You guys, a lot of times you guys don't see me being the bleeding heart. I'm the hard ass and the blah blah and whatever y'all call me behind my back. But but I do those new moms that come in, I feel for that. But I'm so empowered by the fact that I remember, I have not forgotten what that pain feels like.
Yeah,
I have not forgotten. But I also know on the flip side of that coin that there's so much light to be found and so much magic and so much awe and so much inspiration and so much amazing growth that's what I lean into. Okay. So that's where your shift is. And you stopped it. Now here's the deal. It's okay to cry for people. The stopping is where it crosses over from their pain to spiraling you into your earth perspective, right? And you did
Mhm.
that. You did that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to shut down like being compassionate for them or grieving, their loss, because you can grieve their loss. You can grieve for them. The difference is knowing when it's starting to cross you over back into your earth perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And the second, it was like you said, it's a split second. The second it came up, I'm like, that is not what is happening right now. That is not why I'm sad. You know, I'm sad. Literally, I feel their sadness. It sucks and whatever. It just, it's like I always need permission to feel a negative emotion because I live in
Well,
this perpetual bliss, which is bullshit, but we try.
but here's the thing. You can't always live in perpetual bliss,
I
because
know.
even after you're past the grief, it's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to, you know, you cannot you can't bypass Kate. I love you,
I
but
know. Whoever was in the
you are
class
not
yesterday, I said Nikki always calls me out for bypassing.
well, you are not. I'm sorry, guys. We are creatures of duality. And if you're still in this body,
Mhm.
you're going to have darkness and you've got shadow and love and light, all love and light, all the time communities. Those are bypassing communities. That's why I try for healing warrior parents. I'm like, post your pain, post your pain. We're just not going to feed it. Like, these are very fine lines, and humans
Yes.
trip over them all the time, right?
Yes.
There are people that I was very near and dear to in love and light communities that do not like me anymore because I won't be love and light all the time. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't think I could be if I tried, you guys. I am sassy and ornery, and I got a mouth on me, and I would not be my authentic self if I ran up and hugged all of y'all all the time. I don't even think you'd like me as much, because I am a creature of duality, and I'm okay with that now. It was very confusing for me at first when I first started healing, because I'm like, oh my God, like, what is wrong with me? I feel like a damn bitch sometimes. Some days I'm just bitchy. Some days I am earth perspective and I'm stubbing my toes all over the place and this and that and the other. You know what? That's okay. I can extend myself enough grace for being human, because guess what? If you're in a body, you're not supposed to be love and light all the time. That
Right. Yes.
defeats the purpose of being in a body. Because in a
Yes.
body, we're creatures of duality. We have light and dark. We have ego self. We have spirit self. Yeah, we want spirit to lead, but guys, ego's always going to bark. It's just always going to bark because it's here to teach us, you know? And it's okay to
Yeah.
get pissed off at the ego. It's okay to get pissed off at your neighbor. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Because in that contrast is where you find the shift, the authentic shift into the light, into surrender, into the peace. You can't go around that part and jump automatically into that, or you've negated the lesson that the contrast is there to bring.
Yeah. So my theory on that, well, it's not working for me, but what I tried to do was get over on the other side of it by bypassing it, just do a big jump and then from that point look back at it and be like, okay, how did I fuck that up? Well, that's not working.
Yeah,
So yeah, no, I gotta go
because
through it.
the only way out is through,
Yes, not
so
around.
not
And then
around.
backtracking. No, that's not how it works.
That's
No.
not how it
Yes.
works.
No. No, it's not. I mean, I know. I try really hard to say like super positive though. I feel like that's just like the vibe that works best with me. But like, yeah, I scream and cuss at my kids and my husband all the fucking time. You know? My my youngest son actually, this could probably be part of my problem too. He's the one that's in a wheelchair and has a disability. He has COVID. So that's not fun. And that's part
That's
of my
not
earth
fun.
realm. And I'm like, who the fuck gave my kid COVID? I'm about to fucking hunt you down like a goddamn mama bear. you know, there's that too. But whatever. I gotta find the duality. That's not really, I'm just upset. He'll be fine because I think he was exposed like 8 days ago and is having the tail end of symptoms. And I didn't even really This COVID stuff is like the hardest stuff on earth to track, if you ask me at this point, because my kid goes to school with 25 other people. Nobody there had it. It's 8 days later after the initial exposure, but how do you know that that's when he got exposed?
Well, here's you want a really hard truth, and Fawn, I hope this doesn't trigger you, but this is my hard truth about
I
COVID.
apologize, Trot.
I can't hear
I
you, Kate.
apologize.
What happened? Oh, hold on. How'd I do that?
Did you mute me?
Apparently, I'm not supposed to speak hard truth because my volume just went up to 0. So now I'm kind of scared to say it.
No, say it.
My hard truth about COVID is that whoever signed up to get it, whoever signed up to leave their body because of it, whatever that looks like, COVID is part of a massive shift of the planet. Okay. It's part of the massive shift that's happening on the planet. It is something that is causing a huge shift in the way the government operates, the hospitals operate, how humans operate with one another. How the body, it is shifting how the body operates. It's evolutionary on the body and the immune systems and all. So this is a huge, as far as spirituality goes, it is a huge shift that is happening. And so, it's a lesson in all of us for surrender and compassion and deeper truth and a million other things. Okay. So, Kate, you can spin your wheels and be pissed at whoever gave Kavi COVID, or you can lean into the gratitude that this isn't his exit point, right?
Yeah.
And
No.
we've talked about that because Kavi will inevitably have an exit point before you, and we've talked about that. So you can decide to go light or dark there. So when we're talking, and here's the deal. That doesn't mean you don't spend 3 days pissed off at whoever gave Kavi COVID and blah, 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 and you blah, 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 and get it out. And then you start to shift it, right? Because you have to have the verbal release or the burn release or the energetic release or all of them. Really all of them is the best way to go, right? And then you shift into your broader perspective and you lean into your light then, okay? Because the name of the game, guys, is not letting either or become you all the time. Letting it move through you. When you're talking about contrast, when you're talking about grief, when you're talking about guilt, when you're talking about anger, when you're talking about earth perspective, anything to do with lower vibration, it's about letting it move through you. And then you surrender and you breathe, and chances are it's going to come up again, and you're going to move through it again and again and again and again until you can reach full surrender. Every single bit of contrast that I deal with in my life, even now, that's exactly what it looks like. I get all tangled up in it. I verbally vomit, or I get in my shadow. I do whatever, and then I surrender, and then I shift, and then it'll happen again on a smaller scale, and then I'll go through the process, and then it happens again on a smaller scale until it finally dissipates, because I've learned what it came to teach me.
Yeah.
Good
God
times.
damn it.
Good times. Good times.
Oh, well,
And
yes.
sit back and look at the patterns of your life, and you'll see certain patterns of contrast.
Oh, God, yes. Yes. And you relearn and you relearn and you relearn until you finally learn. It just comes back and comes back. I believe that's in Buddhism. That is what karma is. Come back and come back and come back until you learn it.
Yeah, karma's not punishment. Karma's
No.
what we find.
We're supposed to be learning.
It's the reciprocation of energetic learning. Absolutely. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yes.
You got some work to do, Kate.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun for me.
That's gonna be fun for
you. It's all, you're right, it's all about the duality. I swear to God, like, duality will be my like lifelong healing lesson, because
it is for most people on a healing path, though. I think for people that are in the love and light, I'll give you an example. I worked with a woman in the community She wasn't a bereaved parent or anything, but she spends a lot of time trying to heal the community, doing like, always giving out love, and most of the time she's miserable, and she's trying to heal herself by trying to heal everybody else. And I kept telling her, like you, it has to start with you. You can't, this healing everybody else isn't going to get into your nitty gritty. And she eventually got mad and stopped working with me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like that's the truth of it.
Mhm.
I couldn't come on here and work with you guys if I wasn't working through my own shit and hadn't worked through my grief part. Like that's bypassing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead of taking, and she has massive guilt because she like, I don't want to take the time and do my own inner work. You can't do everybody else's inner work unless, walk with them with their inner work unless you're doing it yourself. You
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
I
I
don't.
believe that is the path of the true warrior, because it is not for the faint of heart. And there are a lot of people that don't do it.
Yeah.
It's hard work. It really
It
is.
is. It
Being
is. Like,
self-aware and accountable and authentic is not an easy path, guys. It's not.
no.
But it has moments of pure freedom and pure peace. And for me, that's why I keep doing it now. It's no longer about it not being in vain anymore. Like now it's about me. Like I'll be damned if it's going to be in vain for me as well. Right? For me as well. I get to be included in that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can never, like, I guess it's hard, and then I'm just like, Kate, you already know the answers. They're like popping into my brain before I can even spit the words out. Like I know what the answer is to the question that I have. It's not even a question. It's just like this simple fact that I do try and live in love and light at all times because that does make me happy. But I have, well, duh. I mean, I worked with you forever. I did work through my grief. I'm no longer grieving Anthony. I'm very strong in my knowing, but that's not all there is to me. That's never
But
been all there was to me.
you're
You know what I
very
mean?
strong. Well, you're very strong in your knowing about physical death, and you're very strong in your knowing about broader perspective, knowing truth and living in truth and moving through your duality into your truth over and over and over again. Those are completely different things.
Yeah.
Living in your knowing and living in your acceptance of your duality and moving through each lesson through the contrast, that's completely different than living in your knowing about Anthony. This
Right.
is all layers and nooks and crannies and cracks and crevices. It's a lot easier for me to live in my knowing and spout off all the time. Oh, Leaf's not dead. Leaf's not dead. That's a lot easier for me to live in that knowing of mine than living in the knowing of Nikki. If you'll just work on some of your own, keep working on your shitty ass shadow and your duality and all your inner child wounds and all the blah, 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 blah. I know that leads to freedom and peace. I know that it does. I've done it 8
Mhm.
million times on a million different levels. I know there are 8 million more levels to go. But
Mhm.
in my ego, it'd be a hell of a lot easier to say, oh, well, I've grown so much and I know my truth. And so, I just get to ride out the rest of this life with ease. That would be
Oh
great to
God, no.
bypass through it.
Yeah,
But
no, we're not. That's not. I know that's not my path. There's no way in fucking hell that anybody's gonna let me do that, especially Anthony. Like he's not gonna allow that. No, mom's gonna need to do some like serious work and growing. I just wish I knew what it was. Like I preached the other day. Like
because you
there are
want to
just
jump
some things.
ahead, you don't get to know before it's time to know. You don't get
I
to jump
want to know the end
ahead.
result right now.
Surrender.
Oh fuck that word again.
You need to
Okay.
surrender.
You can move on to somebody else. There's my
Well, when you're
non-love and
talking to
light.
Kate,
Bless
don't you
bless
feel
your
when you
heart,
talk to
Nikki.
Kate that you're talking to me too?
Yeah, I know what that means, Kate.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
I'm talking to Kathy too. Here's the deal, guys. If you guys will surrender to the fact, and those of you that are still dealing with your grief are like, son of a bitch, do I really need to hear this right now? Probably not, because we got to stay present too. But if you will surrender, like I came to a point with all of it where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to know at this point that for the rest of my days that I'm in body, I'm going to have moments where I don't have to grow and I don't have to introspect, but more often than not, I'm going to surrender to the fact that I'm going to be constantly growing while I'm here. And my shift with that, though, guys, was, you know what? If I can get to a point where I can grow as much, like instead of looking at it as a chore, if I surrender into the fact that I'm going to grow as much, no matter how painful it is, as much as I possibly can this life, so that if I choose to come back to Earth, maybe I do get a vacation life. Maybe I do get to be a cat for the royal family, you know, or a dog on a farm or whatever I choose for my next life. Like I am of the firm belief, or at the very least, I've convinced myself that it will be worth it, because if I can bring back some of the resonance of what I am learning and transcending in this life to the next time, I don't know what happens. Maybe I get to go back and live this timeline with both of my kids as my kids this time, without any glitches, without a lot of contrast. Maybe that's what it'll look like. Or maybe I do get to be the royal cat, or maybe I get to pop over to whatever, some of these amazing, apparently universal planets that some of y'all aliens are from anyway. Like, I don't know what it looks like, but I'm willing to step up to the plate, and whatever I wrote in, down to literally stubbing my toe, you guys. When I stub my toe, I'm like, oh, that's a lesson that I'm not in my body right now, because I'm not paying attention to my spatial awareness, which I'm not really good at anyway. So literally any contrast that comes from stubbing my toe on, I try to always say like, okay, why would I have written that in? What is that trying to tell me? What, and I've surrendered to the fact that I will always keep growing. I will. My body's going to keep growing, sagging, growing, shrinking, whatever that looks like. But I have surrendered to the fact that my spirit, I will always keep growing in my spirit. And when I did that, my lessons became less intense, you guys. My lessons became like nothing is life or death anymore. Nothing is life or death anymore.
Well,
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
yeah, no. I think that the intensity of situations has definitely lessened quite a bit. You know, for me, like I don't know if you guys know this, but there's 2 baby mama drama creators in my life. And they love that. They feed on that, I think, still. And, 15 years ago, I was feeding on that right along with them, and almost got myself arrested a few times dealing with those 2. But, they still do that. They still try to rock my world. And I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to participate anymore with that.
Yeah.
And that goes through like all kinds of things, like it's not, I don't know if it's a boundary that I set up, or if it's just like, that's nonsense. And that's not even what we're like, I don't care.
And that's what will happen when you're on your healing path. That's what will happen. I mean, it
Yeah.
will. Bernie's experienced it. Kathy's experienced it. It's what will happen. You start choosing not to play in the lower vibration anymore, because you realize like it's nonsense. It is nonsense. And that is why it's being brought up. So you can be like, not playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's
No,
the
thanks.
that's the
Yeah.
level up.
Yeah. I need to level up in whatever this duality surrender thing is, though, because I feel like I've been working on this since like January. I'm looking at the poster we made in a class in January.
Okay, guess what? Slow your roll and stop trying to be in control of it and allow it to unfold.
Okay.
Which is also surrender. We haven't quite got the surrender part down on the way yet, Kate.
No, we
You
haven't.
know what, Nikki?
Yeah.
I came across my vision board from whatever class we did the vision board, and it might be the same thing, Kate.
Oh, probably.
I looked at it, and everything except one thing happened.
And
Yeah.
that's
Good
how
job,
it works.
Bernie.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I haven't seen this in a long time. Oh, wow. Oh, really? You
Yeah.
know?
It's crazy.
Yeah, you want to know? So it's right here. The two that I did not conquer is duality and surrender. Go figure.
And maybe that's something we need to revisit as we set intentions after we get through this part, right? The next
Yeah.
few days, guys. Maybe part of something to be thinking about, guys, because we are going to be setting intentions for 2022. And so let's start thinking about vision board stuff. Maybe it's time. I know it's cliche and cheesy, y'all. I know, but obviously it works, right? So maybe we need to start kind of just plant that seed in the back of your head about what you want that to look like. And maybe we will do vision boards. And Bernie, if you want to post yours after Christmas, if you want to post yours, and Kate, you can post yours.
And I have mine too.
you-
I was just looking at mine too, and there's quite a few that it came about in different ways when I put it how I
Uh-huh.
wanted it. It came about, but not in the way that I had visioned it. You know, like I visioned, like I put a me on the beach, you know, in a hammock,
Mhm.
and I got a hammock for my birthday.
Hey, you
Oh,
got
come
close,
on.
girl. You got close.
and I put like, you know, like water scenes around my room. So
Mhm.
it came to me. I guess I better learn how to put that specifically. Like, no, actually, I want to be on the beach, but
Yeah.
you know, me on the beach on a hammock. A hammock came to me for my birthday. So
You're getting
But
there.
yeah.
You're getting there though. So
Yeah, but-
let's start thinking, and it can be stuff like it can be stuff for your healing, stuff that you want to happen this year, you know, like hammocks on the beach, you know, cruises, but it can also be things like embracing my duality, learning to surrender. Now, here's the deal, guys. In terms of the energetic field, be careful what you wish for, because it may not come. Most likely it won't come the way that you expect it to come. That's also part of surrender, right? Is letting it come how it shows up instead of how you expected it to come. That's also part of surrender. You know, that's what happened with this house. I was hell-bent and determined that we were staying in Gulfport. We are not in Gulfport. I am 30 minutes from Gulfport. We went back to Gulfport today and the energy felt off to me. It felt weird to
Really?
me. It did. It
That's
did.
because you're missing. You're missing from Gulfport, so it feels
No,
weird.
it felt off. I went into Chi Crystal and it felt good, but literally after leaving Gulfport today, it was like, I want to go back to the house, which is not anything that I would ever thought would have come out of my mouth. But so did it come? Yes. Did it come the way I wanted it? Nope. Did it come the way I expected it? Nope. So I had to surrender. So that's the name of the game. And it is, it's over and over and over. And guys, you guys have heard me say this before, all the tools for your grief journey, you then start using in your rest of your journey, right? When you turn that corner and it's not about your child anymore, and you're like, oh hell, like I know where my kid is. I know my kid's fine and available, and then you're like, now the rest of it's about me. Believe it or not, that's the part when things get real tough. It's not searing pain like the shattering. It's pokes and jabs and elbows to the ribs and stubbed toes and hurt egos, because you're the motivation then. You're the motivation, your highest self. That's when you start including yourself into that. None of this is going to be in vain, Debbie, right? It starts out like, none of this is in vain for Isaac. None of this is in vain for Isaac or my boys. There's going to come a corner that you turn like, oh, well, I'm part of that too. So now finding me and my highest path and my authentic self is the motivation.
I know, as you just said that, Nikki, I'm like, maybe I don't want to let that guilt go, because shit, then that means I gotta start looking at my stuff. And I don't want to do that. So if I hold on to that guilt, I can still just keep on with the grief. As you just said that, it's like,
still about my grief. It's still about my grief.
I know, as you just said that, the light bulb went ding, ding, ding. I'm like, no.
You're turning
So-
that corner, Debbie.
Damn it.
Good time. Damn it. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. What else, guys? Pam, you've got big days coming up. How are you doing, sister?
Just low,
Okay.
real low.
Are you having a lot of cellular memory coming up, or is it people around you? What do you feel? Have you figured out what it is? Like where it's coming? I mean, we know what it is, obviously, but have you dove into it at all to kind of deconstruct it? Or you
Um,
just, and it's okay if you're too tired to do that too, just so you know.
yeah, well, it's probably just, beating myself up for it. So,
You're beating yourself up for not being
yeah, well,
powerful enough.
that I should be, strong.
No, you don't have to be strong. None of y'all have to be strong. If you need to come on here snotty crying, letting us hold space for you, bring it. You do not have to be strong. No, guess what? You want to know what true strength is, Pam? It's not in the pretending to be strong. True strength is in the shattering and the rising, and the shattering and the rising, and the shattering and the rising. And it's okay when you're down in the shattering part. That's part of the strength. That's part of the strength. Extend yourself enough grace to know that you're redefining what you've been taught strength is. Because that's what you're in the midst of doing, sister. You're allowing yourself to get down in it because you need to get down in it. Maybe you didn't allow yourself to fully get down in it last year or whenever, you know? So when it comes, guys, it comes with purpose because there's more to be shed and released. And you have to learn to extend yourself enough grace to do that. To do that. It's okay, Pam, if grief and joy coexist. It's okay if joy's not anywhere to be found right now. That's okay too. You've done a lot of work and you know that you will come out of this. So there's no harm in sitting in it when you need to. Okay? That's the not bypassing part. So I'm proud of you for not bypassing it.
Thank you. It's,
You
yeah.
know? Let me ask you this, Pam. You're down in it right now. Do you think that in 6 months' time you're still going to be down in it?
No.
No, you're
No.
not. I know you won't be. So that means that you already know that being down in it, you're not letting it become you. You're letting it move through you. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. It's so, 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 so important for you guys to learn to differentiate when you're letting it become your identity or when you're letting it move through you. Because letting it move through you is what's needed for your healing. Okay? There's such a huge difference in those two things. I cannot stress it enough. So, Pam, I want you to acknowledge that you're letting it move through you. It hurts like hell and it sucks and it feels gross, right? It does.
Yes, it does.
But there's no shame in it, Pam. That's the work we're here to do. I don't want you going around it. If you go around it in 6 months, I'm going to be like, oh, damn, it's going to come. It's coming. It's building. I would rather you guys let yourselves get down in it because you each have the power and the tools to not stay there. There's not a single person here that's going to, as it moves through you, that you're going to stay there. In 2 months' time, you will rise again. You know how to do it. Each of you do. There's not one of you that's signed up for this program that has engaged that I ever worry about. If you were to message me and say, Nikki, I am falling apart, what would I say to you? Good. Let's get the rest of this shattering done. Leveling up. You're leveling up. Pam, you're leveling up. And when you level up, it gets darkest before the dawn over and over and over again. Every single time. Every single time, guys. Every single time you level up, it gets dark. It gets dark. Because you know why? Because you can't see the light unless it's been dark beforehand. So you're leveling up, sister. And I'm proud of you.
Well, it feels like shit, but
It does feel like shit, mama. And I am sorry that it feels like shit. But you know what? You're going to be better for it. You are. I want you to sit while you're moving through this. I want you to sit and think about your measured progress. Think about the highs that you've had since you started working on your healing. It's good to remember that that will come again. The dawn will come again. And right now, it's your job to sit in it and let it move through you. And that means, what's it mean? If you need to get on the floor and ugly cry, snot all over the floor, and you got to wipe it up with the mop, and you're kicking, you're screaming, you're cussing, Brandon, how dare you? God, how dare you? Whatever it looks like, allow it. Allow it. That's the moving through it. That's the purge. That's the pain purge. You don't ever have to hide that from us, Pam. And guys, I know it's hard, but you don't have to hide it from other people either. You don't have to. We're teaching the people around us as we move through it that true strength is in the shattering and then the rising, and then the shattering and then the rising, over and over and over again. I wish I could make it better for you, Pam. But all I can offer you is that the dawn is coming. And right now, lots of self-care, sis. Lots and lots of self-care.
yeah, that's
And
Well-
don't forget, it'll never be as bad now as it was that first day. You've
Ever.
already been through the worst, Pam. You kicked that shit's ass. You already been through the very worst absolute shit. It can't get any worse. It can be bad, but it can't get that bad again.
yeah,
Amen.
I don't know. I just felt like maybe I didn't deal with it before.
It's not necessarily that you didn't deal with it, Pam. There's so many levels to this that will rise, you guys. There's so many levels. So instead of your narrative being, maybe I didn't deal with it before, maybe it's just that more of it's coming up to the surface that wasn't recognizable before. You know? It's kind of like a root, right? Like, I'll be working out in the yard, I clip a piece of root, and then I'm raking 3 days later, and the same damn piece of the same damn, not the same piece, but a whole different piece of the same damn root is right there. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It's kind of like that, right? You took care of the first piece of root. You clipped it, you deconstructed it, you saw what was in the middle of it. This is just another piece of the root. This happens, this is how healing is. It happens in layers and levels. It layers and levels and nooks and crannies and cracks and crevices. Okay? So extend some grace to yourself, Pam. It doesn't even matter if you didn't deal with some of it before. Who cares? You're dealing with it now. It's coming up now. So now you deal with it and we'll move through it and we'll get you to the next layer. And you know what? If in 2 months' time, 6 months' time, another layer comes up, we'll work through that one too. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's okay it's okay if that takes 10 years. It's okay if that takes 2 years. It's okay if that takes 20 years. I have clients that are 15 years out that we're still dealing with layers and levels, and that's okay because you're still growing and you're still learning and you're still healing.
And what you did or didn't deal with yesterday doesn't really even matter. It only matters what you do with what you know today.
Exactly. I'm proud of you for sharing with us.
Well, thank you. I was afraid I'd break down, but
I'll, che- I'll, I'll cheer you on if you break down, Pam. You know me well enough to know that by now. If y'all are crying, you're healing. You're crying, you're healing.
Hey, Pam. Last year when we did this class, it was like after like my knowing that I found Anthony and all that jazz. That happened real quick. But we did a meditation. I think it was with the Olson guy, Rick Olson.
oh yeah, yeah,
I think. I don't remember for sure. No, is he the shaman?
He's a
Yeah.
shaman, yes.
Okay, then it's not him. It was somebody else. We did a meditation, and what I don't know, it was like one of the guided meditations that we did last year. And it was like you meet your child in a space. And this was after I had found Anthony, after I did all the grieving. I didn't bypass it. I was working with Nikki in like private sessions, then doing the classes. And I saw him as like a little boy. And I remember like getting like I had to like leave. I was a sobbing mess. It was like it hit me all over again. And Nikki's like, it's another layer. Like I literally had to go through all of that shit again because I had gotten over like, grieving Hales, but I hadn't gotten over like the fact that my little buddy wasn't here, like the little guy. So it totally layers, totally like memories, everything.
yeah.
You have to grieve it all at different times.
All
All.
of it. When I say every nook and cranny,
Yes.
I mean every nook and cranny. That's why when I was working on my trigger work for myself, I literally walked myself into things that would have eventually come up on their own. That I was like, I need to like explore all of this because in 10 years, I don't want something walloping me upside the head like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is part of your healing. This is literally what it looks like. If you were Pam, if you were all love and light all the time, now come on now. But you have to extend yourself enough grace. And remember, you guys, you're not moving backwards. There is no backwards. There's only leveling up and layers to move through. Have you been feeling like you were moving backwards, Pam?
These past 2 days, yeah.
Okay, so
Just because every little thing bothers me.
of course it does. You're back down in the darkness. That's okay. The darkness serves purpose. I know it's horribly painful, you guys. I know. But one thing that I found, and I used to cuss it, like I used to call it the grief beast and that fucking grief beast, and I have posts about it and all these things. What I know now, what I came to know is that it's actually, she's been one of my best teachers. She was never my enemy. Ever. She was never my enemy. She's who walked me into the light. She on one hand, Leaf on the other. That grief has been my teacher. That grief has been my guide. She's been the source of my healing. Because without her, I would have never known everything I knew, including the excruciatingly shattering pain of when it first came, when she first showed up, right? So that's another layer of surrender, is being like, you know what, come in and take me where you need to take me. If that's down to the deep, dark, bottomless pits of hell, take me there, because I know you're going to walk me back out, right? Her and Brandon, they're both going to walk you right back out. It's going to take a little bit of time, but they're going to do it. There is no going backwards, you guys. There's no such thing. You know too much, Pam. You know too much now to go backwards to where you were.
Oh, that's why I think, well, so why am I this way?
You're this way because you're human and
Yeah,
you're embodied and you have cellular memory and you
Yeah.
have trauma in your brain, in your physiology, and you have energetic trauma. And those are all layers we move through. Maybe you're not grieving Brandon's physical leaving his physical body so much this year because you know that he's around. Maybe it's a lot of the other stuff connected to it, the energetic trauma. Maybe it's flashbacks. Maybe it's the cellular memory. I remember cellular memory, guys. My God, could be like I was amped up with total fucking trauma. I was, and I'm like, what is going on with my body? Because in my mind, I was like, I know he's right here. So like, what is happening with my body? And that's when I started studying cellular memory, traumatic memory, and the way trauma affects the physiology of the body and the neuroplasticity of the brain. Like, there are physical things that are happening. There are chemical releases that are happening within your body when cellular memory hits. So you're not going backwards, Pam. I promise you. I promise you. You're on a big old level up, mama. Woo wee.
Oh, yeah, it's
You guys
just have to
don't
remember.
have to, yeah, and reach out. You don't, Pam, you don't ever have to mask your pain and act like you're not in pain for us. Will I offer you a shift? Yeah. Will I also tell you to sit in it until you move through it? Yeah. Right? You don't ever have to shoulder that alone. There's not one of us here that doesn't know exactly where you're at and what that feels like. You do not have to shoulder that alone. Ever, 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 ever.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm.
We're right here with you, mama.
Thank you.
Nikki, remember where I was a couple of weeks ago?
Oh,
Oh my God, I thought I was going to die. I was so miserable. And I did level up. And
yeah.
now I look back and say, what the hell was wrong with me?
And I'll tell him, Bertie messages, he's like, I need a session in 1 hour. And I'm like, okay, it's 9:30. Okay, 10:30 at night. All right, let's do it. Tom was like, who's calling? Like, Bernie needs an emergency session. And I was like, and I've had a White Claw or two, so it could be an interesting session.
Oh my God.
It's okay to be down in it, you guys. It's okay. It is a leveling up. And it's okay if you don't move through it quickly. I mean, Bertie got insight that night, but it was still, you were still moving through all the muck of it, for a good while as
yeah, at least another week.
Yeah. Because it takes time to move through that and get the clarity of spirit that you need. Do you feel like you have clarity in your spirit about all of that now, Bernie?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It takes time. Guys, we wouldn't be in body if it was like, poof, oh, okay, there it is. Peace, floaty on floating. Like, we have no reason to be down in the body if we're already there, So that's what we're here to learn, is how to move through it and let it unfold and surrender and all of the things, right? Damn, we're stubborn. We're all damn stubborn is what we are.
I am.
Me too. So yeah. Anybody else? How's everybody else feeling? I'm so impressed with all of you guys, truly. Christmas is upon us. And those of you that are needing to sit in it are sitting in it. Those of you that are just sitting back, soaking it in, Brenda and Rebecca, and Angie. Those of you that are needing to work through certain levels, Brenda, those of you that are needing to work through specific things, you're sharing, you're being authentic, you're being vulnerable. Like, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. And I truly hope that you guys are experiencing, at the very least, moments of peace. Who here is experiencing moments of peace? That's a win. That's a win, you guys. That's the power of the collective energy that we all bring here, too. That's huge. It's absolutely huge. Okay. Just so you guys know, does anybody else have anything else? Are we feeling ready? Somewhat ready? A smidgen ready?
I feel like saying fuck it, really.
You know what, Peggy? It's okay to say that too. That's called
Yeah.
radical self-care, my friend.
Yeah, I'm really feeling it.
It's okay to say that and say, you know what? I'm tapping out this year. I'm not buying into all of it. I'm not, but you've done really good, Peggy, at cultivating moments of joy for yourself. And
Yeah.
I give you kudos for that, despite all of the other stuff that you have going on that is a constant source of leveling up for you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you
It's like a
you
lesson a
are
day, less than an hour.
I feel that sometimes when you
Yeah.
live with adult children. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that, girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, especially ones that won't deal with their grief, absolutely, I get it. But you're learning surrender. You are learning surrender,
Yep.
and but what you're also doing, what I've also watched you do during that, instead of that becoming the end all be all of your experience, kind of like it did last year for a bit, you have taken time to radical self-care and to cultivate moments of joy and awe for yourself. And that is a huge level up in measured progress, Peggy. So I hope that you see that and recognize that.
I do. I do see where I'm not staying in it. And
Yeah.
every day I ground and surround and I sage myself and the house and them and the world and everything I can. And yeah, I keep praying, I don't give up hope and just taking it minute by minute.
And you know what? That's a prime example of what we're supposed to do. That's a prime example of learning to stay present. Literally going one moment and then the next. If that's all you can do, there's nothing wrong with that. Guys, do you want to know why I'm not like, here's my yearly schedule for all my classes? Because I don't know I'm doing a class until usually the day that I post it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not a planner. I literally still live, quite honestly, day by day. I do, which doesn't always work out for my benefit, I will tell you. But I've learned to surrender that if it didn't work out the way I expected it to or wanted it to, that's okay because that's how it was supposed to unfold, and I'm all right with that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I still have to adhere to when things are due and bills and blah 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 blah. But I try to lean into gratitude, like, oh, I'm thankful for having electricity as I pay my electric bill.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I really am proud of you, Peggy. I think that this year compared to last year, like huge progress, girl, huge progress.
Yeah, I feel a big difference. I'm still feeling a lot of cellular. You could say memory. Tomorrow's my brother's birthday, and he's gonna be gone a year in January. So all
Is he
that.
gone? Is he gone?
Now he's here. He's definitely with us. There ain't no doubt. But
Okay, so
left this
he's
earth.
gonna be out his body for a year
Right.
tomorrow. Right.
But everything changes. But that's life. Everything changes anyway. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some tapping might be good for you to try. And you guys don't just have to tap for grief. You can Google tapping for all kinds of stuff, like all kinds of stuff, right? So try some somatic stuff. If you're experiencing cellular memory stuff, it's time to go to the body. It's time to do, even literally just changing up the energy within you, some jumping jacks, some stretching, something out of your norm, that engages your body. That's all going to fall under somatic work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So change it up if you need to, guys. Absolutely. We'll be sending you big love tomorrow too, Peg.
Thank you.
party, 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 party in the cosmos.
Yeah, no doubt. He'll be partying.
Exactly. So tomorrow at 7, Kat is going to do the Christmas dinner in the heavens guided visualization with you guys. She'll be on at 7 to do that. I've already told Leaf to have fun with y'all because I am taking an evening to myself to do more stuff around this house. So apparently Nikki and hot water, I have no hot water again right now because now at this new house, the hot water has decided not to work. I'm like, what the hell is, like, what am I attracting with the hot water? Like, I need the hot water to soak in. So I have to deal with that tomorrow. But Kat is going to let Spirit guide that. We're hoping that Spirit guides it to a big, huge dinner table with everybody's beloved there. If y'all see Leaf, give him a hug. My higher up Spirit will be there too. While my Earth self is down here contending with Earth contrast. So I'm trying very hard not to be like Earth bullshit. I'm gonna say Earth contrast. So that's tomorrow night at 7. Okay. And that's what tomorrow's Thursday. Then Friday is Christmas Eve. What I want you guys to know is I do a very low key Christmas here. I have my phone on me all the time, especially for those of you that have milestones. If you are down in it and you need me to remind you that your person is not dead and gone, that it is okay to set boundaries with the people around you still in their bodies, because I find that a lot of times there's more of that that has to be worked on around holidays than thinking our kiddos are gone, right? Reach out and message me or post, or post it in the group. Do not be scared to post it in the holiday group so that I will have my phone. I will be checking it. When we go to hot pot lunch, I will be checking it. We may go, they have an ice skating rink set up at the beach, and I'm not a big fan of ice skating, but I feel like that's like a bucket list item to ice skate near the ocean where it's warm. So I will have my phone there. Okay. I will have my phone. I will have my phone. I will have my phone. Let's look at the schedule right now too, so we know what's coming up for us. Okay. You know me. Takes me a little bit. And I'm not getting I'm sorry I'm not in the group like fielding everything as it comes up, guys. For some reason, I don't know how to fix it. I'm not getting notifications. So I'm only going into the group like 4 times a day and checking. And I did it right before we got on. And still, I just now am seeing that a lot of you posted like all throughout the day, and I didn't get to see any of it till just now. I probably could figure that out, but I've yet to figure out how to figure it out. So, okay, let's see here.
You
For the
can't figure that out. It's just a function of Facebook. Everybody's that way.
Well, I think that's a bunch of malarkey.
It's the algorithms.
Yeah, well, again,
it's got to do with the shit. Like if you tried to type the word holiday in your posts on your phone, did you see it pops up like a little special link that you have to take away because it makes it for these resources? It's all this new algorithm junk Facebook is doing, and they're jacking up the way people get notifications on everything, especially groups. They're trying to change the way groups are done.
Oh gosh. All right,
Yeah.
well, you're in charge of that. So tomorrow we have Kat doing the Guided Connection Christmas dinner at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sunday, December 26th, day after Christmas, group medium reading with Kat. Monday, December 27th, we'll have 2 spots of Reiki, 11 and 7 with Tara. Wednesday, we'll do grief guidance with me. And then we have Saturday and Sunday. When we come on to do Sunday on the group reading, I will remind you guys to start contemplating about your 2022 vision boards and intentions, okay? And what you want that to look like. Okie dokie. And like I said, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Do not hesitate to post in the group if you need us. If you need me in the group and you don't feel like messaging me, tag me in it, because at least then I'll get the notification. Okay, most of the time. So does anybody have anything else before Kathy pulls cards? I want each of you to try to have, if nothing else, a comfortable holiday. Okay, it doesn't have to be happy. It doesn't have to be joyous. At the very minimum, try to cultivate a comfortable holiday. And Peggy, if that means saying fuck it and laying in your bed all day, watching reruns of Justified or whatever it is you get into, then that's what that means. Okay? Drop your expectations. And guess what? As you drop your expectations, it's okay to set your boundaries so that other people's can drop theirs too. That's all right. Okay. One of the things that I do now is I move into every holiday with 0 expectations. Truly, I have 0 expectations. People get me a present, good. If they don't, good. If we have a big meal, great. If we don't, great. You know, we did on the night before winter solstice, Kat was here, and we were like, you know what, let's all get each other just little gifts. And Kat was like, her house in North Carolina is totally ripped apart because they're renovating after a huge water leak. And she was kind of sad because she wasn't getting a huge Christmas dinner. I said, let's do a huge Christmas dinner. So we ordered Bob Evans' huge Christmas dinner, and that's what we did. And we burnt our winter solstice releases out by the fire, had some drinks. It was totally last minute. We all did it very last minute. We had no expectation of it. Fabulous. So go in with no expectations and just let it unfold and be what it is and be where you need to be. Just have a comfortable holiday. Okay? It doesn't have to be a damn Hallmark Christmas card or Christmas movie, guys. It doesn't have to be that. That's social programming. A comfortable holiday is all any of us need. All right? I'm sending you guys so much love. And my spirit's gonna pop around and eat whatever y'all are all eating, and all the kids are gonna pop around. You know, if you're plating food or doing special things for your kiddos, I'd love you guys to post that. I posted the 4 candle lighting poem that I did the first 2 years of our first 2 holidays. I have since, when I do that now, I've changed the words to it because that poem it's got a little pain feeding in it. I'll tell you, it's got a little pain feeding in there. So I changed the words up to be more in alignment with my truth. It's okay to do that too. So share with us what you're doing so we can share with you. We can all walk through it together. Okay. All right, Kathy, take it away.
Okay, I'm going to draw tonight from the Fairy Wisdom Oracle, which is my newest deck. Until my new deck comes in January. Because I had to pre-order that one. It's not available yet, but it'll be here when it is.
She has a problem.
It's a bit of an addiction, I will admit that.
Little bit. There were things.
Okay, tonight we got number 35, Summer Dragon. Can you guys see that? Summer Dragon.
Pretty.
So, keyword for the Summer Dragon is sunny. Oh, the joys of summer. Do as this dragon does. He is just a carefree little guy who moves from flower to flower, absorbing the sweetness of life. Embrace the light and the warmth and the beauty of summer all around you. Summer represents the full bloom of life. You are entering a time when life has much to offer you. You can expect opportunities to open up in all different areas of your life. Wear your rose-colored glasses and see everything from a loving point of view. This is a time for excursions and adventure. It is a time to meet new people and to join with friends for good times. Whether it is actually summer or not, allow yourself to move into the feeling of summer. Mentally cast a golden sunny glow around your body. Envision yourself radiating bliss. Know that things are going to work out well for you if you just stay in a sunny attitude and go with the flow. And the chant for this card is, "Oh, spirit of summer, I accept that life is blooming just for me. Opportunities fill my existence with hope and direction. I am empowered by your golden light. I now enjoy just being, so be it." And then you are to have a fun adventure today.
Which does not mean bypassing Kate Gray. I saw you shaking your head, dancing to the positivity.
I'm the summer dragon. Spirit says so.
Kate's like, I guess bypassing is okay, Nikki.
Front yard rubber ducky does not equal summer dragon. I still got to go look that shit up, Kate.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, did you look it up yet? Okay.
No, I got to go look that up.
All right, ladies. Thank you, Kathy. So, again, if you need me, you know where to find me. You will not be intruding upon my holiday. You will not be pulling me away from anything. I am a very good multitasker when it comes to my work and my personal life. So that's the only thing I'm good at multitasking in, but I seem to do that part well. So do not hesitate to reach out if you need me. That is why I'm here. Okay? Any of you, all of you.
Thank you.
Hopefully not all at once, but cultivate comfort, lean into your moments of joy, lean into your moments of peace, lean into your radical self-care. And I'm serious, guys, if you're going somewhere with family and you're like, oh my God, they're draining me, be like, we're here for an hour and then I'm going back home. That's okay to do. You know, if you have 85 members of your family over at your house, it's okay to let them sit on the couch conversing and you excuse yourself to your bedroom to take 45-minute lay down if you need to and recharge. Do what you need to do, you guys. Okay? I mean, you can just say, like, my grief coach gave me permission to do this, so take it up with her. And then they can message me and I'll talk hard talk with them. So I'll be the holiday bouncer. So do what you need to do for you. Okay? Please. If only for a moment in the upcoming few days, every day, do something for you to take care of you. All right? Okay. On that note, let's give some good stretches. Elf is stretching with us. See him? Ah! Nice big deep breaths in. Close your eyes. Visualize. Archangel Michael.
Archangel Michael.
I was gonna say, I have to hear somebody say it or I don't know when to keep going.
Sam.
Oh, Big Mike and Archangel Azrael, please come down.
Please come down.
Please come down.
And cut all energetic cords
Cut all energetic cords
that drain me,
that drain me,
that suck me into their vibration,
suck me into that vibration,
that are not provided for my healing or my highest purpose.
that are not provided for my healing or my highest purpose.
Please rain upon me
Please rain upon me
a force field
a force field
of divine white light
of divine white light
with reflective mirror
with reflective mirror
that disallows
that disallows
penetration of negative energy
penetration of negative energy
and reflects it back to be transmuted into healing.
and reflects it back to be transmuted into healing.
Thank you, and so it is.
Thank you. And so
So it is.
Right? Big stretch. I just love it when I change it up on you. Get that energy moving. Get that energy moving. All right. Palms up. Eyes closed. I really want you to lean into the physical sensations, ladies. As a warrior, I want you to call back your energy assertively. Say, I call all of my divine power back to me now.
I call all my divine power back to me now.
I want you to see those rays of light, whatever color they are, coming in from each other, from all over the globe, if you've been online, from all your co-workers and your bosses, if you've been at work, from your kids' friends, from your families, from your spouses, from your neighbors, from your mailman, the grocery store clerk, whoever you've been in energetic contact with today. See those beams of light coming in from them, the power that you've unwillingly and unknowingly given away, and that's drained you without it. See those beams of light coming down into the palms of your hands, where they center and your palms may get flushed, they may get warm, sweaty, tingly, or they may get cool. Those light beams turn to liquid light, and it fills the body by running down into the forearms, to the elbows, and up through the upper arms and into the shoulders, easing inflammation and any aches as it fills the body. It moves into the chest space, up through the neck, into the face, through the jaw and the lips. Feel it, feel your head up to the tip, healing any spaces that need healed, opening the chakras as it flows back down through your chest and your heart space. Breathe it in and fill the lungs as it moves down through the abdomen, to the belly button and to the pelvic girdle, soothing the hips, down into the upper thighs. See it glow, feel it spread into the knees, through the lower legs and calves, fills the ankles and the heels, down through the feet, and go through every toe. Let it feel every toe. Step out of your body and watch it glow. Watch the color get vibrant as your divine power that connects you to source, to your children, and to everything that is oneness is once again restored within you. Deep breath. Exhale, surrender. Thank you, and so it is.
Thank you, and so it is. Thank you, and so it is.
All right, ladies,
Thank you.
try to have a Merry Christmas. Be good so Santa doesn't bring you cold.
Mm.
And cultivate comfort and moments of joy. And I will see you soon.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Nikki.
Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas, everyone.
Blessed you all.
Love you all.
Love
Love
No,
you all.
love you
guys.
all.
Love
Bye.
you all.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.